Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Walter Tonetto. I'm the CEO of Indocoin. We're having an ICO in September this year, which will be a wonderful event. And I'm also proud to be an advisor for FUNKEYpay. Now, I was on the way last night to the airport, hoping to join you in Korea, but unfortunately an emergency came up, so I had to abort my trip. Allow me a little bit to give you just a little bit a word or two about my background, and then to give you just in very, very short form the reason why I think FUNKEYpay is going to be very, very good. I'm a visiting professor. I have had a number of technology companies, so I've been working in the blockchain space for some time. I'm the vice chairman of the highly respected global blockchain research application foundation. I'm advising a number of ICOs, important ICOs. So I'm very knowledgeable in that space. I'm also a company owner of technology companies, of software companies in the past. So, and here's a very, very important point that I want to remind you of. You will have this orange brochure in front of you that gives you some understanding of who the players are in the FUNKEYpay team. And of course, there are a number of presentations which give you a very, very good idea of the overview of the competitive landscape and such matters. I wanted here to just as I said, give you just very, very briefly, aside from my salutations, I wanted to give you just some brief ideas for you to remember, maybe to keep in mind when you make a decision whether to invest in FUNKEYpay or not. There is a company known as TicketSocket. TicketSocket USA has a very good relationship with a number of social media companies, including Facebook. They have, of course, an office in Korea. And now the beautiful thing of what they do, of course, is they have a system where you can sell tickets, where any company can kind of issue tickets. So they have great facilities in terms of to do things online, especially in the social media space. Now the combination, of course, with FUNKEYpay is a special one. If you think in terms of APIs, FUNKEYpay has open APIs together with TicketSocket Korea. That means, in simplified terms, it means easy access for other applications. It makes the facility of buying something, and I hope the FUNKEYpay team will be showing you how to actually make a purchase, say on Facebook, to buy something. That's extremely easy. I find it always personally sometimes problematic if I have to make an online purchase. I need to dig out my credit cards. I need to go through so many different processes. With FUNKEYpay, it is safe. It is efficient, it is of course very fast, and this is a very, very important point to note. It is very cheap. Again, the FUNKEYpay team would have adverted to the fact that there is a significant cost savings to be had in choosing FUNKEYpay over some of the other competitors out there. On some calculations I've seen, it's almost 400% cheaper. That's kind of really significant stuff. How's the company positioned in terms of the competitive landscape and going into the future? Allow me to say a word or two about the expansion, or let's say how this social media space is actually changing. The old paradigm had pretty much as, if I have a product to sell, I'm going to be pitching it at you in some form. Could be kind of direct mail, it could be big billboards, all the traditional things that we're familiar with. Somebody wanting to sell us something. The beauty now of this kind of expanding, and it's actually, if you will, there's kind of an explosive growth to note of the social media space is this. It is more and more that friends, through this like system, when you hit a like button, typically on Facebook or on some of the other social media applications, then that leads to, as they have analyzed very carefully, that leads to buying behavior. So in other words, the value of opinion in the social media space and through the relationship element is increasingly important. And this is, of course, the area where FUNKEYpay is going to be playing. Now that makes it, of course, very, very, very interesting. So the kind of projections that you see, and of course I've seen all the projections that FUNKEYpay has, are in my mind actually conservative. You have a target market for FUNKEYpay of $100 billion. Now, let me tell you the reason why I think that is going to increase that number. All the paradigms that are presently active and making money are the centralized ones. You think of Airbnb, think of Amazon, think of the Grab, the Ubers, and so on, that are part of this extraction economy. We will see increasingly, trust me, over the next 2 years, 3 years, decentralized applications in the social media space, meaning there's going to be an even larger uptake of the social media elements. I think that's round about now the 3 billion mark, and we know that mobile usage is very, very, very high and increasing, with increasingly smart mobile devices around, of course. So that means that I think that number of 100 billion that the FUNKEYpay pool it is playing in is going to be larger. A very, very important thing that I always look at when I make a recommendation about a company is I look at the team. Now, in this fledgling blockchain space, you have a lot of very clever, young people that are coding, that have got some really cool ideas. Does that amount to a business case? It does not. When you look at FUNKEYpay, and please do look at that carefully, that orange brochure I mentioned to, the orange form that you have in front of you, have very deep business experience. There's a professor of business studies in Seoul. That is as the CEO that's heading up the company, and the whole, when you go to look at the chairman, you look at all the advisory board, there are people from Oracle, from Samsung, from all the kind of major companies with very, very deep business experience. So that to me is really, really important. In the end, I don't really care what technology you have. Show me your team and show me your roadmap to market. And then I will usually, in the case of the blockchain space, I usually kind of, I'm sometimes befuddled and think, well, this is not going to lead anywhere with most companies that I look at, despite the fact that the technology is often very promising. So on the score of the company, in terms of what the company brings to the table, in terms of their wide and deep and long experience, I think that's very, very, very important. So these are not just your average team. This is a high-powered team. I call this an A-team. And then the technology, and of course, and I look always to the genealogies. I look to the connection, the relationships, and because of this ticket socket, this relationship with ticket socket, so that the capabilities of reaching all the social network media out there is incredible. It's really, really, truly incredible. And I wish the FUNKEYpay team well during this event. And I said again, I apologize for not being present with you. That I could maybe answer some of your personal questions, but maybe on another occasion we get the opportunity to meet. And I hope that you will direct any questions, of course, to the very capable FUNKEYpay team. And I wish you very well, and I hope you will consider seriously investing into FUNKEYpay, because when I look at basic items in this world, when I look at, say, the food supply, I look at water, I look at air, they're two, of course, the essentials that we need on this planet. Now, the payment, of course, is a pretty close contender to that. Why? It's because everything we do, the moment I move out of my hotel room, I need to pay for this, I need to pay for that. And that the ease, the efficiency, and the security are very, very, very important. So in this kind of dramatic, in this kind of explosive social media landscape, wonderful to have a company like FUNKEYpay show up. And we see that Ticket Socket Korea made a very, very smart decision to select them as partners. So again, I wish you a wonderful afternoon, and take care. Bye.